Hello, everybody. ¿Cómo está ustedes? Hope everyone's doing well this evening. We're going to commence here in just a minute. I'm going to make sure everything is live where everything needs to be live, and then we'll get going. So bear with me just 1 second while I make sure that we are live on all of the streams. Here we go. Here we go. Live. We're live. We're live. Feature link. Message me. Share to notify subscribers on this. Invite admins. Okay. You just put a title on this. Hope everybody's doing well. That you've had a great day. I don't know what's happening here on these different filters. Oh my gosh. Okay, as much as I wanted to play with the filter, I don't think that's going to work. I just wanted to do one thing, and that's not going to happen. So hopefully I can get this to kind of sit right here while or maybe right here. Maybe that's better. Uh-oh. Okay. All right, everybody. We're going to get started here in just 1 quick second. Press live here in the group. We got Instagram going, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. Hi, Facebook group. Hope y'all are doing good. All the hugs. It's been quite a day. Oh, camera's here. It's been quite a day to everybody. It's been quite a day when you got to fight to survive. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Just to recap, I am going to read daily from an author named Miss Rachel Rogers and her book, We Should All Be Millionaires, because it hits a lot of strings. It hits the heartstrings. It hits the emotional strings. She brings in some emotional intelligence about how to be socially aware, how to be self-aware, how to manage relationships better. She hits on all those points, so don't get it twisted from the title. But don't get it twisted from the title thinking that it doesn't have to do with emotional intelligence. It does. And then also the money aspect of it, it wakes you up to things that not necessarily you, maybe you, I don't know. But when I say you, I mean globally, human people, the race, a human race, that decisions that you make, decisions that you ponder, whether they be good or bad when it comes to money, decisions that are made for us who are underrepresented women of color and how we are viewed. You know, like she has a part that I think I'm going to read today, or I read yesterday, that, you know, as much as I would love for it to be a different story in society, it's not necessarily that way. So she is not dispelling myths, but she is she lays down laws and backs it up with statistics and brings forth facts. So we left off yesterday saying it's harder to advocate for ourselves or others without money, autonomy, and power. Now, moving on today, we are at this point where it says, if we as women are truly passionate about improving our lives, making the world a better place for our children, and getting equity for all marginalized people, then we need to step up and make bank. That, in my opinion, is the way we take back the power we deserve from people who underestimate and undermine the contributions women like us make to the world every day. We've tried using our voices to speak truth to power. We've tried marching. We've tried writing letters to our representatives. We've tried volunteering in our kids' schools. We've tried creating organizations and nonprofits that advocate for the kind of change we want to see in the world. We've begun to raise hell and use our voices, but we need to start playing a different game. A game we can win, even though the rules that apply to men don't apply to us. We all know a wealthy white man who achieves his success by knowing the right people, by easily landing his first great job, by asking for what he was worth. When a man succeeds this way, he is praised. But when a woman tries to assert herself, she's called a bitch, or worse. As women, and especially as women of color, we need to wake up to the fact that our rules for playing and winning the game of success aren't the same as a man's. And that's a good thing, because the rules that work for men don't work for us. The old boys club that ensures a white man's success is not available to us. And if we think about it, we'll realize we don't even want that version of success. Women need to define success on our own terms and go after our goals in our own ways, even if it seems crazy or risky or unusual at the time. I have 2 cameras I'm working with, so if I look away, it's because I'm working with 2 cameras. Because I've seen over and over again that doing things our own way as women works. When I was a lawyer, first starting out, Rachel says, I knew I didn't want a prominent position at a fancy law firm because I was so over the toxic culture that rules in those institutions. The rigid 9 to 9 schedule, the limited vacation time, and office politics that always resulted in white men winning and a Black woman like her losing. During my limited experience working in corporate firms, I witnessed things like a partner throwing a stapler down the hallway while screaming at the top of his lungs, "But men aren't emotional," says Mia. Anyway, back to what Rachel says. And he was being admonished because I got busy doing important research and wasn't there to receive the lunch delivery I had ordered for senior associates. So white man partner can throw a stapler down the hallway in a fit of rage, having a temper tantrum like he's 2 years old, but she gets berated. She gets berated because she got busy doing important research and she wasn't there to receive the lunch delivery she had ordered for senior attorney associates. Clearly, senior associates can't be meeting delivery guys at the elevator to get their own lunch, as if. So Rachel says she decided to open her own virtual law firm, which enabled her to work with clients remotely while wearing a flowy kimono from her kitchen table. I call her my rich lady kimono. She's real cute. And it worked for me, she says, to the tune of $700,000 in annual revenue. Yay, Black woman. Yay, woman of color. Many of my clients, friends, and colleagues asked me how I built such a successful business, and I started teaching them my strategies. Eventually, there was so much demand for business coaching, and I enjoyed it so much that I decided to close my law practice and coach full time. I transitioned to coaching other women on how to run a business, manage their money, and turn their intellectual property into an empire, which has turned my 6-figure business into Hello 7. Literally, that's the name of her company. She said she's learned how to play the game of success by her own rules. And in this book, I'm going to help you define your own success and chase after your goals on your terms. It's time for all of us to make a lot more money. And by doing so, we'll literally spread our wealth around, take our power and agency back, and ultimately change the world. So, small things. This is the part of the book where you start to think, but Rachel, there's no way I can earn $1 million, even with your help. And this is where I'm going to tell you that you are absolutely wrong. You've got kids, babies at home? Me too. I was breastfeeding my youngest when I wrote this. You've got a husband or partner or life companion? Same, she says. You're Black, Asian, gay, trans, or member of a systemically oppressed community? Talk to the Black woman who is writing this book. Stuck in a job that won't promote you or give you more than a 3% raise? Been there. Yep, I have too. You're an entrepreneur who is stuck at $50,000, $100,000, or barely making a profit? Done that, she says. The reason you're not a millionaire yet, the reason you're not a millionaire, and then she puts hyphen, yet, another hyphen, isn't because you're not capable. It's not because you're not smart enough or not pretty enough. It's not because you're too loud or too quiet. It's not because you didn't get good grades in college or because you don't have enough experience. It's not because you're too black or your butt is too big. Can a person ever be too black? And can a butt ever be too big? The answer to those questions is no and no. And it's certainly not because you're not talented enough. It's not because you're a person of color, not because you identify as LGBTQ+, not because you're married, not because you're single, not because you're pregnant, not because you have kids, not because you've chosen not to have children, not because you grew up low income, not because you grew up middle class, not because you live in an expensive city, and not because you live out in the country. Those are not the reasons you're not wealthy. As I explained in the first half of this book, women, including myself, have learned to make a metric ton of excuses about why we can't earn as much money as men. I say it's because of the shit we've been fed all these years. Okay, back to Rachel's book. That's a big reason we aren't winning the game that men have successfully played for years. Years. Most of us aren't even on the game board because we have been taught. I just said this before I read that line. I'm not talking to anyone but the air. But because we have been taught by our well-meaning parents, role models, and systemic racism and systemic sexism to give it away for free, key resources. Strong women like us routinely forfeit our independence, our time, our power, and ultimately our success. We tolerate bullshit and feel guilty advocating for our own needs in our homes, at work, and in our national politics. Deep down, a lot of us believe that we are somehow at fault for not getting what we deserve, whether that's equal pay or a spouse who does their share of the chores. But the truth is that we can and should think differently. In the second half of the book, I offer 5 specific practical shifts I've made and helped other women make that create wealth. The big secret that most men won't tell you is that amassing cash isn't really about the money. It's about feeling like $1 million every day. Because when you feel like $1 million, you are far more likely to earn $1 million. Come on, girl, preach. It's about daily habits and beliefs, not hustling for everyone else, never questioning your own instinct and value, not doing every possible thing for anyone who asks, and not being truly all in are the key ways that women like us limit how much we can earn, how much we can save, and invest. In this book, I'll show you how doing less can help you earn more, and why investing in yourself is the best choice you can ever make. Why should we shoot for $1 million? Isn't 6 figures enough? No, it's not. Here's the problem. While six figures in annual revenue sounds like success, it doesn't feel like success. Fixed expenses are increasing at a faster rate than incomes, making it harder to live a comfortable lifestyle in American cities, especially when you don't get child support, but you do it. Magnify Money, which is a website, magnifymoney.com, did an in-depth study in 400 metro areas across the United States on what it looks like to earn $100,000 and found that most households are spending $25,000 or more every year on their housing alone. These households are spending $10,000 or more each year on childcare as well. Even in the most affordable metro areas in the United States, $100,000 households are left with 2% disposable income. That's only $2,000 per year after paying their basic expenses. In other words, even when you earn $100,000, you are likely only one emergency away from financial distress. In 2018, with the economy at its most robust in years, 61% of Americans said they could not cover a surprise expense of $400. In 2019, a study by the AARP found that 53% of American households did not have an emergency savings account, including a quarter of those who earn more than $150,000 a year. And remember, the goal isn't just to get by. The goal is to live a comfortable life and make a big impact on the world. How are we going to back our desired political candidates, contribute to important charitable causes, and help the people around us if we are barely making ends meet? No, sis. It's time to shoot for $1 million. Okay, but how do you define millionaire? Rachel says, I define a millionaire as a person who has more than $1 million in assets or who generates an income of $1 million or more per year. When you are making this kind of money, trust me, it's possible. You can enjoy your life and make the world a better place. When I began my career, I was making $41,000 per year as a law clerk for a state judge. Back then, I couldn't have pictured being a millionaire, but I was already on the path to making millions. even if I didn't realize it. Now, my only real asset at the time was my ability to earn a living. At the time, I didn't realize how quickly I could increase my earnings, so I moved into a cheap basement apartment, lowered my monthly expenses, and began building my law practice with just 3 clients who were all friends of mine. I used my own asset, my earning potential as an attorney, to build more significant income. In my first year of business, I made approximately $60,000 more than my previous salary as a law clerk. The following year, I made $300,000. She went from 41 to 100 to 300,000. And the business continued to grow year over year until I hit $1 million in revenue. To this day, my business is my most valuable asset. But that's not the only way to become a millionaire. My friend Emma Patty is a millionaire. Emma's fire. She owns $1 million worth of real estate. Now, when she was just out of college, she decided she wanted to buy her first property. So she rented out the bedrooms in her apartment and slept in the living room so she could live rent-free. Smart chica. She didn't buy nice clothing or furniture and lived as frugally as possible. She worked a full-time job, and on the weekends, she would find discarded furniture, restore it, and then sell it on Craigslist for a profit. She lived like this until she could afford the down payment on her first property. She rented out that property and earned an income from it. And then she saved up to acquire her next property. She did this for 10 years, and now she is a millionaire who doesn't have to work. She spends her days with her son, being an activist and doing creative writing. Another friend, Terry Ijoma. Terry's fire. She is a millionaire as well. Terry was a school teacher. She loved her job, but when some big administrative changes came to her school, she found she no longer enjoyed the work. So she decided to cash out her 401k and use the money to trade stocks and try to earn a living from the stock market. Her first goal was to make $300 per day in the stock market. She met that goal after a few months and then decided to see if she could earn $1,000 per day. She met that goal too. Eventually, through day trading, she accumulated $1 million in assets. Terry is now a millionaire. Love Terry. One of my clients is an attorney named Rosina Pierce. Rosina left her law firm job to start her own trademark law practice. When Rosina and I began working together, she was making about $150,000 annually in her practice. After about 18 months of working together, during which she worked hard, hired employees, and acquired more clients, Rosina had her first $100,000 month. She is now the owner of a 7-figure law practice, $1 million asset. Rosina is a millionaire. There are many paths to becoming a millionaire, and you are already on your way. If you have a retirement or savings account, own real estate or stock, or have a business that generates income, you have assets that make your net worth. In this book, you'll learn how to grow those assets to $1 million or more. And if you are starting from scratch like I did, and your only asset is your earning potential, you can turn that into $1 million too. Stick with me. All right? Stick with me. We're going to end there for the day, and I will pick up tomorrow to bring you more. All right? Post any questions you have, comments you have in all of the places wherever you can next to this live. And I will see you all on the next one. Big hugs. Bye.